What's happening out there in rugby league land? Yes, here at Barry Charles, I talk about everything rugby league in Australia. Yes, first off, who is going to win this battle between the NRL and the RLPA, because it has been absolute disaster. Yes, Clint Newton, 20 months, cannot get the deal done. It's a time for him to heave-ho out of here. It's time for him to rock and roll. If he was your manager at club level and he can't get you a better deal somewhere else, you would sack him, right? This is the sort of thing that they're going to have to look at. Do they get rid of him if he can't get it done? And also on the flip side, what are the NRL doing? Andrew Abdo can't even get along with Clint Newton enough to get this deal done. Are these two kids or something? I can't get it why they just don't sit in the room, get it done, couple of days, let's rock and roll back to rugby league. Because you know who's missing out? It's because of this media hoopla, especially at the moment, is the women. Yes, we have the Women's Football World Cup going around in Australia and New Zealand. This is a great time. There's people travelling all around the world to come watch this. They have a chance to promote rugby league and have them come watch the rugby league games when there's not the football games on and get this media going. And they're not allowed to. Surely something's going to have to burst shortly, because this is a big chance to get some people into the game and they go, hey, maybe I should play rugby league. It's not just rugby. And get people enticed, excited about the game of rugby league. So I think that's where the media boycott should stop, and let's get back to it. Get Abdo and Clint Newton together. Let's get this done. It can be done, no doubt about it. It's just craziness the way this has continued to be. It's just struggling. I just can't get it. To me, it's just, if they want to make a statement, if the RLPA want to make a statement, the players want to make a statement, you don't play this weekend. Yes, you want to make a statement, you do not play this weekend. Then they'll come to the table and I'll tell you what, it'll get done in a day. Absolutely. If you want to do it, boycott the game. Yes. Will they do it? No way. But that's what they should be doing. Boycott the games this weekend. Let's get the deal done. Until the deal's done, we won't play footy. Bang, it'll be done. I'll tell you what, that's what they should be doing. That's how you do a real bargain dealing, people. Don't just muck around, because that's what's happening. Now, the Bulldogs, the absolute disgrace the Bulldogs have been for over a decade, can't find their identity. Well, the talkers, they're trying to find their identity and toughness, winning everything. Well, this is something I tell you fans out there, the Bulldogs, is Cameron Ciraldo your man. Because Andrew Webster is doing a similar thing, similar metrics, and he is nailing it where the Bulldogs are not nailing it. So clearly, is he too strong, Cameron Ciraldo? Is he more like a Michael Maguire type of thing where Andrew Webster is more relaxed? This is new age sort of coaching that we're starting to get. Because, as you can see, to win the premiership, Ivan Cleary's quite relaxed as well. Where you see some of these other coaches like Craig Bellamy who can relax, but, you know, they get a little bit intense and they're not winning the premierships now. They were winning it before, but you know what I mean? Now, this is where something needs to happen here for Cameron Ciraldo. They've signed him for 5 years. They really need him to deliver. Absolutely, they need him to deliver. Why would you sign him for 5 years? It sounds crazy. And the same with the West Tigers. They got a similar setup with Tim Sheens and Benji Marshall. It was craziness to sign these long-term deals with people that are not proven coaches. So that's something for the Bulldogs fans. Obviously, what's happening to poor Raymond Mariner, I'm not sure if he's a good trainer or not. Maybe that's why they were getting rid of him. But I tell you what, the Warriors would love to have him. The Warriors used to have him. Bring him back, the Warriors. Because I tell you what, he will bring some nice attacking flair to the Warriors game inside before their hard workers. He would be a very good buy for the Warriors. Go, the Warriors. Raymond must be on your radar. Yes, so interesting how this is all playing ahead with the manager not even knowing about it officially. He had to find out through the media that his player was allowed to negotiate. It's absolute just madness at the Bulldogs. But no, some positives there for the Bulldogs is Stephen Crichton's coming next year. Sio Tukiahi might be returning next year to the Bulldogs. But is he a little bit over the hill? That'll be the question mark. And also, if they can add a Jerome Luai, Payne Hustle, or Tino, if they can add two of them, they are top 8 material. But to me, they're still about 2 or 3 years away from being a true premiership threat, and it could even be longer. Look at what happened at Penrith. It took them a long time to get themselves going as they try to develop more youth. And look at what happened also, obviously, at Penrith. Ivan Cleary got sacked, and then he was brought back to coach his son. There's the only reason they kept Nathan Cleary there, because Nathan Cleary might have went to the West Tigers. I don't think that actually ever was going to happen, but hey, good on them to Ivan Cleary, and they're going to win them some premierships. And this is without Phil Gould there. So was Phil Gould the answer? Well, it's a question for you to say, but he started the building blocks towards getting them back on track with the juniors. Interesting to see how this plays out for the Bulldogs. Will Ciraldo last his 5 years? We will see. He'll have to improve. He'll really have to improve next year, otherwise he could be looking out the back door as well. Well, let's get to the footy on the weekend. Yes, the big games here. Broncos versus the Roosters. Old school grudge match. The best of Queensland, the best New South Wales. This is what it used to be. Who's going to turn it up? Who's going to be the pin boy of this one? Reece Walsh or James Tedesco? The matchup of the round, just about. Tedesco trying to prove that I'm still number 1 for Australia. Because if we play the Kiwis this year, I'm going to be your number 1 man. Well, he's going to have to be number 1 and more, because the Roosters have to win if they want to keep this season alive. Where the Broncos are in danger of dropping out of the top 2 if they lose this game. So this is a big win for them. They need to win this game. If they lose this game, they're opening the door for the Warriors to make the top 2. So this is a big game for the Broncos. Reece Walsh, I think, is going to take over from Tedesco, but my question mark is he going to mature? He's got to stop acting like the spoiled brat. Is he out of doing the drugs? That's another question, because we know in the NRL drugs are hidden the whole time. You had other players from the Melbourne Storm that are doing drugs, and they're still playing now. And you're telling me that they're not doing drugs during the season? Come on. It's a boys' club there. They need to weed out the drug makers here in the NRL. Maybe, that is the issue I see with rugby league. They don't go hard enough on the drugs. Absolutely not. How can we see it in most other sports apart from rugby league? If it's not a big-time player, then they care a bit more. That's generally what happens in the rugby league circles, where they really should be doing more testing of these players. The Broncos have a chance to make a statement and go, yes, we are the team to beat in this competition. We will see if they will do it. I believe they're going to do it by 18 points. I think they can win big. It doesn't mean the Roosters can't win. Don't get me wrong, the Roosters have a chance to win. But I think the game wasn't that great against the Titans. I think that was showing how bad the Titans were rather than the Roosters. But Tedesco, if he has a blinder, it could be an interesting game. They need Manu to lift and get more ball in hand. Friday night, the West Tigers versus the Rabbitohs. Yes, this is a game. Luke Brooks returns on paper. Last time we did play with them, they at least had a shot, but they ended up losing 20-0, so they couldn't get the points in the end. And I think that's going to be the issue again this week. They might get a try or 2 more this time. But my question mark is with the return of Mitchell. I think he's just going to open everything up for Cam Murray. Cody Walker. It could be a bloodbath this game. The Rabbitohs need to win big. I think it might be closer than what people think, but I'm still thinking the Rabbitohs are going to win by 18. The Rabbitohs need to win, and they absolutely probably need to win by 50 to get their for and against up. But there's still a chance for the top 4 of the Rabbitohs, so this is a must-win game for them. Tigers have to win if they want to have any chance of not getting the wooden spoon. But unfortunately for you Tigers fans, the wooden spoon is all there is this season, because they're not going to win 3 games to get off the bottom of the table. Yes, now this is one of the matches of the round for me. 1 or 2 big games here. This Storm versus Parramatta. Parramatta had been in good form, and then these injuries, suspensions have really not helped out, with Dylan Brown out, Sean Lane, Campbell Gillard, Micah Seaver, so many players out. But they still got a good team. If you look at the bench with Ryan Mason on the bench and Joey Lussick returns from the Super League, they still got a good team on paper. But the $1 million question is, can they do it against the Melbourne Storm? The Melbourne Storm really, they have had a couple of bad games this season like last week, but they normally bounce back the week after. So Melbourne Storm for me are going to get this done by 12. I think the Melbourne Storm are going to win and they need to win if they want to be a top 4 finish. Raiders versus the Knights, which is to me the game of the round. It might not be the game of the round, but I think this might be a high scoring game. The Raiders need to prove themselves as a top 4 threat. They must win this game. They absolutely have to win this game if they want to be a chance at the top 4. If they lose, they're pushing themselves down to the bottom of the top 8, so it's a must-win game for them. But they really need to fall in against, and they need to win big time. But if they lose, their falling against is so bad. If they drop, they can drop badly. For the Knights, they got a chance to get 8th. They do. They have a chance to get 8th, but they have to win this game if they want to make the 8th. If they lose this one, their season's pretty much done. It's not impossible, but if they lose this game, the Knights, you can write them off. So, to me, the Raiders get it done by 7, but I expect this to be like 30 points to 23, 24, some 31-24 silver score. Dragons versus the Eagles. Yes, this is a game. This is a milestone game for Daily Cheerings. Congratulations on your 300th game. It should be a victory for you. But the Dragons win this game. The wooden spoon is done. They're safe. They're saved this season. Manly need to win. They win a chance of the top 8. That's obviously a given. They absolutely need to do it for Cherry Evans. I expect they will get it done, and they should win by 12. I think they should win quite convincingly, but I'm not convinced in the defense. They let in a few tries. Manly have to win if they want to be any chance in the top 8. I still don't think they'll make the top 8, but they have to win this game to keep their chances alive. Now, the Sharkies and Panthers. Yes, to me, with Dale Finucane out, Matt Moylan out, I mean, this game, Panthers got to win by 30. I think the Sharks are in big trouble defensively. They're just not doing it. They struggle against the top 8 teams, only winning 2 out of the last 20 games, something like that, ridiculous. They are on the way out of the top 8 unless they turn it around, and they need to turn it around smart, the Sharkies. But to me, Panthers are going to explode and blow them away. Bulldogs and Dolphins, to me, not much to write home. I think the Bulldogs can bounce back factor. They've been trying to bounce back for a while. The Dolphins should win, and they have keep their minor hopes alive. So the Dolphins by 12. But to me, it could be an interesting game, this one. Sunday is Titans versus the Cowboys. This could be an interesting game. It could turn into a grudge match, and Titans looking to bounce back. But on their performance, you would think not. Doesn't mean they can't win. Titans can bounce back, but without teenagers, they just don't seem to be able to do it. The Cowboys, to me, by 12. Cowboys have a chance of the top 4, more likely the top 6, but the Cowboys have a chance to make the top 4, and they need to make another statement and win here. If they lose, then they'll probably make the top 8, but they're going to make it harder to make the top 4. If they lose, they can't make the top 4, put it that way. Anyway, that is me from the Barry Charles Footy Show. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with more videos on the greatest game of all, Rugby League.